hello. Welcome back to Pinky Hooks. I am Shania Lancaster, and you have just tuned into part 2 of the corner to corner granny square color block blanket. Okay, I'm going to call it part 2 versus week 2 because I've been sick. And as you guys know, I had made a video earlier this week to let you guys know what had happened. Okay, so first, before we get into this particular segment, if you are new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for taking a chance on me. Sit in, see what we're doing here. And also, everyone, new or old, if you do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. Show everybody how much you enjoyed this channel, all right? So let's just jump right into it. First of all, I would like to say, if you have been working on your squares, I am hoping that most of you guys, you are feeling more and more comfortable with the corner to corner stitch. As I said, from the very beginning, like I find that this corner to corner stitch is really fantastic because it grows your work extremely fast. And once you learn how to do the decrease, because that's usually the part that people get stuck on. They can't, I don't know what it is. And I don't want anybody to feel bad because there is a lot of people that get stuck in that area when they're first attempting the corner to corner. It's not the actual, I wouldn't even say it's the stitch, because the corner to corner, well, the corner to corner can be done in single crochets, half crochets. I've never done it in anything else but double crochets. Okay, I do know there are other techniques of the corner to corner. The technique that I taught you guys or showed you guys in the first segment is the traditional. It is the original corner to corner. There are so many different new ones that have come out, and some of them I'm not that crazy about, and then other ones I really would like to try, but not now. So anyway, like I said, you've had time. If you have your squares ready, remember, if you were following the pattern of my original blanket, that pattern took 9 squares. Remember, 9 squares, 10 sectors on each side. Okay, so, and you didn't have to make the 10 sectors on each side. And I meant to say that in the first one, but this will not be my last video dealing with the corner to corner, because there are a lot of you who actually wanted to know, hey, I'm new to corner to corner. Can you make it in a rectangle? Because they want to use it for scarf. Absolutely. Because you guys have no idea. I have 2 projects on the side. One is a scarf, and I will have to show you how to, get the rectangle. And then the other one, believe it or not, is a full size tunic that is asymmetrical. I hope I said that right. It has an asymmetrical cut, like the shirt, a sleeveless, and I made 2 panels, and it's asymmetrical. I said that right. And so I will sew them together, and that will come out later on in, I would say, late spring, because of the fact that I started a while ago, and it really is a summer top. So I want to basically show you the magic of corner to corner. I think you guys will love it. I really do. And I think you'll learn how to embrace it. So with that said, we are going to basically in this segment do our border. And the reason why I'm saying a border around each square is because of the fact that not only does it separate each block, but the technique that I did will help you sew your blocks together. Like, it'll be easier, rather than if you don't put a border on there. First of all, if you don't put a border on there, you really won't get that, like that sharp definition, of each block. So again, it is yours to do, and you may not want that same look, but you like the idea of just making these big squares and sewing them together. So again, it's completely up to you. So I am going to turn this camera around. We're going to take a look at the colors that, remember, just a refresher of the colors that I'm doing my new blanket in. And then you're going to see the color that I am actually going to use for my border. So again, this segment, we are doing the border around each block. Okay, and then we'll see how much time we have, whether I'm going to show you how to sew it. And then the following segment, the last segment of this whole entire series, will be the final border. All right, so let's get started, everyone. All right, so here are the squares where I left off the last time. As you can see, this is the main color. I'm using the variegated for the plush, series from, what was that? The Big Twist series? Yeah. And so this is going to be my main attraction, I will say, because I will have a total of five blocks for this one. And then I did decide to still use the Bernat. I told you the last time that I was mixing. I didn't want to mix the two because one was more thicker than the other, but I like this one because it's brighter than that other gold that I had bought. So this, I will be doing at least two of these. And then I had plenty of that chartreuse left from the original color block blanket. This is still the Bernat Baby Blanket Sparkle. So I will be doing 2 squares in that. So with that said, when I go to stitch my blankets or my squares together, the color that I'm going to use to connect everything and then put the final border will be a simple white. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, with that said, let's move some of this stuff out the way. We will do one of these. You know what? I'm thinking that maybe I should do it on this one because the white will really show what I'm trying to teach you today. So let's put these out of the way. I'll put these over here on the side. Okay. All right. So again, we're just doing a simple single crochet around each square before we sew them together. All right, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to start on a corner. Now, let me show you a technique that I did because as you can see, each sector has different directions that the double crochets are going in. So like I said before in the first video, I call them sectors. So here is the first sector, those double crochets are going horizontal. So you have like 1, 2, 3, right? And then you go to the next set and then they're going vertical, right? So as you can see from the side, you're like, wait, you don't really see like how you're crocheting around, a stitch. Normally when you're doing edging, it's very defined. You might have some episodes where it's defined like right here. You see that? And I call it like the pretzel twist. That's how you normally know like where your stitch is. But then as you start going along on the side, it's like no definition. So that's the trick of trying to do a border on the corner to corner. And that's why we're doing this technique before we actually connect our squares. So what I want you to do is take your hook and you're going to go on your first corner, okay? You can stick it right through the actual stitch, just like that. You see how that is? That's not in between anything. It's in the stitch itself. All right? So basically, find whatever color that you're going to do, connect it, pull through, like so. Chain 1. Okay, so that's going to count as the first single crochet. And now I'm going to crochet over that tail. Now, as I said, this first sector is going horizontal. Those rows are going horizontal. So if you think about it, this is done in a double crochet. A double crochet normally will take 3 stitches, if you think about it, right? And that's what we're going to do. We are going to put in 3 stitches. So single crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now, when you come over to the next sectors, right? You see how they're going vertical. So don't hurt yourself trying to be like, well, where am I going to, how do I know where to go now? You are going to put one single crochet in between the sectors like that, right? And now this one is pretty easy because you're going to go in between each pillar. That's how I do it. I don't try to confuse myself with this. I'm not trying to make it any harder than what it is. So you're going in between. Because the main reason why I'm showing you this, and I know it's going to look crazy because you're going to be like, that's going to look tacky. It's not going to look tacky when you're done. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because you're going to do this for each square. But I promise you, once you sew them together, right, you won't even see like how wonky it looks. Like you're just like, well, Shine, look, you got, it looks like it's uneven. You got some going on here and then looping down there. That's the beauty of it. Okay. So go in between your pillars if you're on the vertical sector. And now we're back to the horizontal sector. Okay. So again, you're going to now go in between and just put in 1, 2, and 3. All right. Now look at your edge. You know what? And I didn't even think about my background with this white table, but it's not too many stitches at all. It's really not. Okay. So you put in 3 there. You want to go in between here. Right. And so now we're on the vertical sector. Just go in between the pillars. Keep it light. Please do not, watch your gauge, and please do not crochet too tight because you don't want everything starting to bunch up and gather up. Okay. All right. So again, now you're back to the horizontal. Put in 3 in between those pillars. Just put in 3 single crochets. Yeah. And then right in between here, that space that separates the horizontal versus the vertical, just put in 1 single crochet. All right. Go in between your pillars. Sorry about this. I really didn't think about this this background. I wonder if I should do this so that you guys don't. That might be a little bit better, but maybe not. Y'all might be like, that's blinding me. Probably not. I mean, let's not do that. All right. Okay, the horizontal, go in between those 2. Do 3 single crochets. Go in between the next sector. All right, go in between each pillar. All right. We're almost at the end because I'm going to show you what you're going to need to do on the corners. Here we are again. You're going to do 3 if it's going horizontal. Do 3. And now you're in between that final sector. 1 single crochet in there. Okay. Go in between your pillars. All right. And here you are at the end. Now, because this is a corner, and I told you, like, I like sharp corners. So in order to get that sharp corner instead of a rounded corner, you always want to put, multiple single crochets or multiple stitches in your corner. Okay. And that goes without saying, no matter what stitch you're doing. So we just put 1 there, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in another 2 in the corner. right? Okay, so now with that being said, oh my God, hold on folks, because I really didn't think about this background. Okay. All right, I had to go get a towel so y'all can see the white edging. I completely forgot about that. I haven't used white on white in a long time. So now, what I want you to see, because it looks like you're going to be like, Vashaya, I got too many stitches. No, you do not. Okay, it's going to look like that because you got to remember, look at the sides of your, let me pull this back out a little bit. Look at that. Look at your sides on the corner to corner. Okay, they're not even straight to begin with. But I promise you, right, if you continue, okay, remember, you're going to sew all this together and it will straighten itself out. I promise you that. Because when you're doing a corner to corner, it's pretty much like it's a little wonky. It's a little bumpy along the way. You know, it's not really super duper straight. So I don't want you guys to be like, no, that's too many stitches. It's not too many stitches. And I promise you, because I had to play around when I did the original blanket, I had to play around with my edges. I remember only putting 2 in here, and I was just like, wait, that didn't work out. It didn't look right. So I had to go back and put 3 in there. So this is a method. Now, for the advanced crocheters, you may know of a better technique to edge, you know, when you have like crazy, you know, edges like this that aren't defined and you don't really know where to put your stitches. But for my beginners, that's the guide that I wanted to give you. Okay. So again, we left off of filling in our corners, right? And actually, I'm sorry, I said to put 3 in the corners, but you're going to put 4 to give it a sharp edge. Now, with the corners, I mean, you could put 3, but I like that because you see, it's more sharp rather than round. Okay. So 4 single crochets in there. Now you are turning, okay? You're turning over here, you know. So basically, before you go into this space, I'm going to have you put 1 single crochet, and this is actually going to kind of go in the stitch. Can y'all see that? It's going in the stitch. All right. So 1 single crochet, and now go in between your pillars. Oh yeah, that white against this burgundy towel looks way better, huh? Oh, the joys of recording. All right. So again, here we are. We're in between the pillars. If you have any tails like I do, just crochet right over them. Go in between each one. Okay. We're back here with the sector where it goes vertical. See? They're horizontal. So you want to put in 3. One in between the separation of the sectors. Let me get some more yarn. Okay. Okay, here we are. Horizontals, do 3. So basically that's what you're following all the way around. Like you are literally just following that thing. And as you can see, this is about as straight as it's going to get. It's not too bad. You know, some sides are a little bit, you know, curvier, but this one is really nice and straight. Like I love how that's turning out already. So basically that's your edging. And so what I want you to do is do it all the way around. Okay. Remember when you get to your corners, okay. And that last one, I originally said 3, but I want you to put 4. Put 4 single crochets every time you get to the corner to give it that sharp edge. I mean, a really sharp edge. Now, if you prefer to do 3, that's because you might want a more rounded corner. I just like a sharper edge. So follow this, you know, process all the way around. Okay. And then meet me back here. All right, so I've gotten to my final corner, and this is where we started. So basically what I'm going to do right in here, I'm just going to slip stitch. Can y'all see that? I'm going to slip stitch right there. It's in the foundation, like the beginning. There we go. All right, that's it. Because remember, and it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to be sewing these together, okay? So let me get the scissors. We're going to snip, snip. Right? And let's zoom out here a little bit. Oh no. Oh no. I hope y'all can see that. So again, I know y'all like shine, but look at that. It's the nature of the corner to corner. I promise you, because remember, once you go to sew these together, right? If you followed that whole entire the way I told you to do it, like how many single crochets to put in, all of your blocks should line up. Like the stitches should line up when it's time for you to sew it. Nobody's going to see this curve. Just trust me. Trust me on that. Trust me. And you have to remember, you know, your work isn't blocked, but there you have it. It is a, it's pretty much, you know, like straight edge. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm sorry, my camera skills is off today. I'm going to show you how to sew them together. And then you're going to see the reason why it was so important for us to do this edging around each square, you know, before we put them together. So once you get your needle threaded, okay, you want to just start at the end and then pull your needle through. You can, once you pull, you know, your thread or your yarn through rather, you can make a knot, or you can just kind of sew, sew over the tail, right? And then, I mean, you got to come back and fix all your tails anyway. All right. So now what you want to do is kind of keep your, I know this is white, please forgive me. You just want to keep your stitches synced up as much as possible. That's the reason why we did the edging. Now I know this is a poor example because you're like, Shine, I really can't see all that white, you know, with all that white. And I didn't think about how I was, you know, like to do this tutorial, but I'm sorry, I'm doing this particular blanket, you know, with white. So yeah, this part is not as polished, the tutorial, like I normally am. So again, all I'm doing, and it's a shame that you really can't see this, golly, is I am stitching. You're trying to sync up your stitches from side to side. Now, some people work in the back loop, or some people just go completely under both stitches. For mine's to lay as flat as I did, what I did was on the top one, I went in between here. And then as you can see, I went in between the second one. And then I stitched it. I know I made my yarn really, really long, y'all. Like super duper long. Let me see if I can get that. Okay. So you're just going to do this like all the way. And you'll get quicker and quicker. Like, and please don't beat yourself up if you're like, Shine, this looks a hot mess, you know, as you're doing it. That was the whole entire thing that I had to be patient with myself and continue to keep going. I was just like, Shine, just keep going, keep going, keep going. And I did, and it turned out fabulous. And I'm like still happy about it. I am. I'm really happy about that blanket, y'all. I am more pleased with that blanket, how it turned out, more so with my Karen Latte blankets. I really am. I'm like really happy about it. Yeah. Yep. That's all I'm doing. I'm just going in between each one, connecting them together. That's it. And this is the reason why people hate putting granny squares together. Now, before I go all the way down, hold on, let me open this up so y'all can kind of see what the stitch is actually going to look like. So let's take this magnifying glass away. Oops. Wait. And maybe I should do it like this for y'all. I mean, I guess you could lay it flat and do it this way if that makes you feel more comfortable. Normally, I start laying them flat the bigger that it gets, but I just wanted to get you guys started. Oh, it came out. Ugh. Okay, so let's zoom back in. So as you can see, you know, it makes this like kind of like a how what's that word? Patchwork. You know, a patchwork technique. And I'm gonna try to zoom in as close as possible. I think that looks good. Yeah. So as you can see, you see how clean that looks, like how even that looks right in there. It's just, that's what's going to happen. I know it looks weird when you first start patching it together, but once you start sewing all of them, sewing all of your squares together, it is, I'm telling you, it's going to give this great, like a patchwork type blanket. That's the whole point. That was the whole point of me doing this project, to give it like a patchwork type look. And I will pull out the other blanket again so that y'all can see it up close what I'm talking about. So continue to stitch your blanket. There we go. All right, so yeah, just continue to sew them up. And of course, like I said, don't worry if you're like, Shiny, it's kind of wobbly. Some sides are going to be straighter than others. It does not matter in the end, because once you get all of your side, you know, all of your squares sewn up, you know, especially as you're watching it grow, it will work itself out. I promise you. And you have to remember that if you have all these little wavies, you know, on the sides or whatever, as long as your stitches, you know, have pretty much the same count on each square, you want to get it as even as possible. I promise you it will work itself out. You didn't block your work. You haven't blocked. This isn't blocked yet, you know. And matter of fact, I don't block my blankets, you know. I mean, they're too big to block. I mean, I guess you could block your blanket. If you block the squares individually, then yeah, that'll be easier. But it's a blanket. I'm not, you know, and then this is bulky, super duper bulky. So who wants to block it? You know, it's supposed to be like that. So let me grab the other blanket so that you can actually see, I mean, really get a good look at the actual stitch work that I did in the you know, original blanket. Whew, this blanket is super duper big, y'all. Oh, golly. Hold on. I mean, it's that big. Like, I have to unfold it for you guys. It's super big. If y'all forgot how big this blanket is, I'm trying to unfold it so we can take a look at what it actually looks like, the stitching, like up close and personal. Now, here you go. This is the original blanket. So you see what I'm saying? Like, you can see the stitching. Like, when you get close up in it, you're like, oh, it's kind of like, you know, like uneven tooths, you know, like a couple of spikes here, a couple of spikes there, but you can kind of almost see the same pattern. But what I'm saying is, you guys saw the picture from afar, and I still love this blanket. The whole entire concept is to have almost like a patchwork blanket. That's it. That's the beauty of this blanket. So that's what it's going to turn out like. It is going to turn out, you know, like, oh my God. But then when I finally got to my edging, this is going to be the reason why I'm going to teach you like the edging next week. This is 3 rows because 2 wasn't enough. I needed to do 3 rows so that your eyes would not be drawn to like, oh, the patchwork and how you sew them together. It just, please be patient. Follow through. Just follow through. That's all I can say about this. Let me turn this camera back around. Okay. So that was the stitching. That was the border around each square, right? And then I was just showing you. I didn't follow through on the stitching because it's pretty much like you're just stitching it together. Like, I felt like that was horrible because I'm not good at stitching. This is where my mom comes in. If anybody watched my Mother's Day video from last year, and I talked about my mom teaching me embroidery and stitching, and I was just like, when am I going to need to use this? Oh, how I regret those words. I'm sorry if it wasn't the greatest, like, I feel like I wasn't prepared for this because I forgot about working with white yarn. Then I had the white, desk and everything. And then my stitching technique, like, it just looked crazy, but I want you guys to follow through. Again, the majority of you who are subscribed to this channel are, your experience. You may not be expertise, but most of you guys are probably intermediate. And for my newcomers, yeah, just hang tight, like if you look at my other videos, I mean, yeah. This is the first time that I have done a tutorial where I literally had to, I think I had to show you guys how to stitch something together. And the concept of this blanket, so that you understand, like, did Pinky Hooks know how to stitch? The concept was in my mind when I thought of the design was to give it that patchwork look, which is what you saw with the original blanket. And if you need to go back and look at the preview video or, the original, like the first segment or whatever, you will see the concept of what I was trying to achieve. And I'm telling you this because as you are working it, like as you're starting to go around your edges for each square, you're just like, this looks wonky. It's going to look like that. The corner stitch is never going to leave your sides like super straight. It just doesn't do it. It does not do it. It will have these wavy things. Why? Because each sector is going in a different direction. Remember, a sector will be horizontal and the next one's vertical, and it just keeps building like that on top of each other. So with that being said, why would you think that you would have like these perfectly straight lines? No, it kind of goes in and out, in and out, in and out. And you can straighten it out by putting a border. And sometimes, as you will see, when we're, on the next segment, the final segment, when we put the border, I literally started with just saying in my mind, I'm going to put 2, like go around 2 times, and it needed 3. It needed 3 because, for one, it grew out the blanket. Well, the blanket was already big, as you can see, but it gave it the final straight edging that I was looking for, right? But in the body of it, it's kind of like this, like it is wonky because it's supposed to be like a patchwork type of project. I say all of this because I have to keep saying this so I can reiterate, don't stop, keep going, please keep going. This project, the reason why I'm so proud of this is because, like I said it before, I had this concept of like, oh, let me try this. And I hadn't seen anybody do it, but sometimes I will stop searching on YouTube because I'm scared that I might come across someone who has done something that has already popped up in my head. And then I feel like, I don't want to do it, like, because somebody's going to think I'm copying off of them, but nope. I mean, there are a lot of us that create things and then come to find out somebody else had the same idea, like the stitch board, that we'll be getting back into. The stitch board. When I presented it, so many different people said, I thought about doing that. you know, and they said different ways of how they wanted to do it. And so what I'm coming to realize, as this is now my 3rd year being on YouTube, is that, yeah, like, you know, people will like think of the same thing, but how it's executed is always going to be different, unless you're just freaking copying someone. Like, you know, yeah. Anyway, I saw all of that. So that is what you should be doing for the second. This is like, you know, the second segment. You should be stitching them all together after you do your border of single crochets around each square. So you only need to go around your square one time, and then you can begin the stitching process. And then that will bring us to the border. That gives me time to finish my squares and then catch up and show you the border that I use. Now, here's the thing. That should really be a super short video, because you may not want to do the border that I did. You may just be like, look, I'm just going around one time with single or double or treble. I don't know what you're going to do, but the border really is up to you. But I just, you know, some people be like, I want to see what you did. So that's where the final segment will come in. Tell me what y'all think. I know this was not my most polished, you know, that was just awful. I am really hoping that most of y'all be like, yeah, I'm experienced enough. Pinky hooks, I'm going to do this on my own. But for those of you who are not, and you're just like, well, I just want to see how you do it, you know, then there you go. Sorry, it's not the greatest. Sorry. I think it's because I had lost my mojo. And because I'm just coming back from being like ill. And not to mention, if y'all really want to know the truth, stay tuned, because I'm about to record another video, and it's going to be my latest whips and stuff. So probably change my shirt, but anyway, yeah. So that's it. So leave your comments below. Tell me how you're coming along. Again, I am on Instagram. I haven't posted recently. I think I might have posted the blanket. But that's the way for you to share your pictures, unless, you know, because some people have my email. I am still in the process of opening up another email account. But for right now, if you send me your pictures, or you want to go on my Instagram, you know, and then, you know, hashtag Pinky Hooks or whatever, then you are more than welcome to do that. I am trying to figure out like how I can make a community. Like, I know a lot of you guys are on Facebook, and that's how y'all be posting y'all stuff. I don't want to get on Facebook. I really don't like social media. But I have to do something where y'all can see the work. We can see each other's work. Okay. All right, I'm wrapping this up so I can start the recording. Until next time, take care of yourselves, work on your squares, and then I'll see you guys next time so we can finally do the border and wrap this project up and move it along. All right, bye-bye.